I was so busy watching my daughter wash the dog just now that I nearly forgot to push the go live button. Lucky I looked at the clock just at the right time to see the thing tick over and say go live. Otherwise, I would have been a little bit late. Hello and welcome to this live Q&A for my meditation subscription, which is the BlissBomb, in which I answer questions from my subscribers about meditation in general or their practice in specific. And I'm more than happy to take questions from whoever might be tuning in today. So if you happen to be tuning in, leave a comment there and let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from. And if you have a question, please feel free to pop that in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer any or all questions that come my way to the best of my ability. So today I have a really juicy question from one of my subscribers, the lovely Michelle, who has asked me the question, can you meditate with an image? And the short answer to that is yes. And she then further expanded that question, let me just check my notes, to say, is this really meditation or is it actually something else? And the answer to that is yes, it is meditation. So let's have a little bit of a chat today about meditating with your eyes open. This is actually a practice that is done and has been done for probably as long as meditation's been around, truth to tell. And again, I come back to my age-old starting point of what is the purpose for meditation for you? What is it that you want to achieve? So when you're looking at embarking on meditation, it's nice to have an idea of what it is particular you would like to achieve. So here we are with the open eye meditation discussion today. I'm Linda Emsley from Love Lali, and I'm answering a question from one of my BlissBomb subscribers about can you meditate with an image? So meditating with your eyes open, again, we're using something to provide a point of focus. So just like when you're meditating with your eyes shut and you might be working with a mantra or you might be working with guided visualization, or there might be some sound happening for you, what you're doing is actually providing yourself a point of focus, something to center yourself and bring the mind back to when it starts drifting away into those ever-present thoughts. The same thing applies when you're doing an open eye meditation. You provide yourself a point of focus for your vision, and by doing this, you provide yourself something to concentrate on and to return to if you find yourself drifting away. So you may be familiar with things like candle gazing, and that's actually one of the things that I have tried in the past, is to sit and just focus the attention on the beautiful flickering flame of a candle. And that provides that really tight point of focus for you so that all distractions are taken away and that you're able to give yourself this beautiful point of focus to allow yourself to drift into that state of peaceful, quiet-mindedness that allows the consciousness to start slightly expanding. So the same thing happens with things like, for instance, the Reiki symbols are something that I've also done open eye meditation with, as I acquainted myself with the vibrations of those symbols. So many Reiki practitioners do this as part of their training. When they come into connection with the symbols, they work with the image of the symbol and also introduce the mantra that accompanies them to really fine-tune that association with the vibration of that particular symbol. Other areas that use open eye meditation, you may have come across this as a yoga practitioner or a yoga student. There's a thing called drishti, which is about having a soft focus for your gaze and directing it to specific points of the body or distances away from you as you develop more awareness of what's going on with your body, and really it's about focus. So for instance, with the triangle pose, you have your top hand extended, and then the idea is to have your gaze directed towards that top hand, and it's to have a soft focus so that your attention gets drawn inwards. So we're wanting to experience what the body is feeling in that pose, in that moment, within, rather than it being a mental exercise, or you get distracted by what else is going on in the room if you happen to be in a yoga class. And there's also a format that can follow, that you can do this drishti type meditation in and of itself, and it reminds me very much of yoga nidra. So it's about bringing your gaze and your focus and your attention to specific points and holding it there with soft gaze for an amount of time, and then when you move through the sequence of where your gaze is meant to rest, come to an end point, and then actually close your eyes and sit with what you're feeling, with what you're noticing. So that's drishti. That's another form of open eye meditation. And then we get into some really interesting symbolic work. And I mentioned the Reiki symbols earlier, but this harks back to a very ancient tradition that comes from both Buddhist areas and the Vedic tradition. And this one in particular, the Sri Yantra, focuses on a specific type of mandala. So it brings your awareness into the point in the center and connects you with the idea of oneness. And it's really about working through the idea of a journey from our point of origin of source outwards to all our individual multiple selves, all the different individuals that are out there that make up the world, and then returning through that process of concentration back from the outside to the inner, being drawn back into oneness. So you can see how this sits with some of those philosophies that talk about us coming from a point of origin, that there is a place in the universe of unity, and that where we exist in this plane of reality, we are in an area of duality and multiplicity, and that our whole journey is about coming back to that understanding of oneness and moving back into that center of source. So these particular mandalas and meditations are really about experiencing that journey in a meditative state and coming into an understanding of that whole process of moving from that point of origin or unity or oneness outwards into duality and multiplicity, then back inwards as we find our way back through our spiritual path to oneness. But Michelle's question in particular was about a picture, about an image. Can you actually do meditation with a picture or an image? And is this meditation? And my answer to that is still yes. What you're doing is providing yourself an image that is a point of reference that gives you something to focus on, something to really concentrate your awareness around and on, so that it draws you away from everyday distraction. And I did actually ask Michelle, her preference is actually to look at a picture of a flower, and her favorite flower is the lotus. And she did mention that the lotus for her has some memories associated with it. So one of the questions that I did ask was, when you use this particular image as your point of concentration, do you get drawn into the memories? And she tells me it's a conscious decision to not be drawn in. So much like when thoughts start intruding on your normal meditation practice, you can choose to not get drawn into the thoughts, but just notice that they're there, notice that they're happening, and return your concentration to the point of focus of whatever your meditation is, whether that's a mantra, whether that's sound, whether that's guided visualization. So the same deal applies with the image. Choosing to not dive into those memories or to be distracted by any thoughts that come in, that is the practice of meditation. So yes, you can use those images, and often people will use devotional images as a point of concentration. And the really interesting thing about the flower, and what I love about this particular image, is the spiral that's associated with a flower. If you have a look at how flowers open and are constructed, the way their petals are arranged, there is that idea of a spiral. So again, using a flower as that point of image is in fact very similar to the process that I talked about in the Sri Yanta, where you have that point of origin in the center and the journey outwards, and then the journey back into unity. A similar thing, I would imagine, is actually going on when we're gazing at a flower in particular, because of that implied spiral that exists within the flower. So taking your awareness into that point of center, the origin, moving back out again to that place of where everything exists out here, and coming back into that place of origin, that point of center right at the beginning. The only thing that I find interesting with open eye meditation is, from my perspective, as someone who likes to use meditation to help people move into their body, when we keep our eyes open, the nervous system is fully receptive and open, and there is that I guess, catch that we're experiencing the meditation process conceptually within the intellectual center. So yes, there is an experience of peacefulness and serenity and opportunity to rest from the dance of the thoughts that are going on in our brains. But it's not actually embodying the process and the feeling of meditation as an experience within the body. And as we deepen our connection with meditation and extend our practice with meditation, this is one of the things that really enhances how the body can work and how the body can actually move into a really charged up, powered up, amped up level of healing, is by moving into that sensation of connecting with oneness within the body. So putting the body into direct connection with source. This is one of the outcomes for meditation. So I think there are times and places for open eye meditation, particularly depending on what your intention is, what your purpose is. I think open eye meditation might be a really nice thing to do during the day to refresh the mind. My personal preference is to work with the breath, because that soothes the nervous system as well and actually restores the body at a physiological level. But if you are comfortable with open eye meditation and you have only a few minutes, you might be sitting at your computer and you've got a 5-minute break between whatever it is you're doing on your computer and your next meeting, that yes, having an image that you can feel at peace with quickly, like a flower or some sort of devotional image that you can spend 5 minutes communing with and getting into that place of peaceful quietness within the mind, gives you that beautiful respite and clearing to move on to the next activity. So yes, times and places. So pick your purpose and pick your meditation type to suit that particular purpose. Let me just check my notes to make sure I've covered everything that I'd like to cover. Yes, I think I've covered everything off, and I've done it in record time because I've had no other questions come in. So I think I might leave you all with that. It's a nice short response to the meditation question today. If there are any other questions coming through in response to the replay, please pop them in the comments below and I will come back and answer those questions. And if you have questions in the meantime, I will be doing another meditation Q&A session at the end of October. So you're most welcome to connect with me in the meantime and send your question through, or pop them in the comments below here. And if you'd like it responded to in the next live broadcast, let me know and I'll certainly do that for you. I'm Linda Emsley from Love Lali. I have been responding to one of my subscribers' questions today about meditation. I hope you've enjoyed the answer. And if it brings up any new questions for you, even better. So thank you so much for your company, and I will leave you be and catch up with you next time. Thanks very much. Bye for now.